this week, I've been taking a little bit more trade than usual, and I want to kind of do an overview of all these trades. You will notice one thing from all these trades. They're all the same. They're going to be on different currency pairs. The setup might not appear the exact same way, but they're going to be the same principle, and I want to guide you through the process that I take all the time. This is going to be very similar to what I do most of the time, and what you guys have maybe seen before on this channel, so let's jump right into it. So here I am on TradingView, and I will guide you guys through the process for one trade. The other trades, I'll just show you what happened and where I took the trade. So we are on AUD CAD right now. This is a pair that I've been trading this week. I took a trade on this 2 weeks ago, I believe, and it's been a losing trade. When I took the trade, we were really at the top of the support area, okay, the 0.97 support. Now, price went down a little bit, and we had the same setup appear once again. This is kind of a re-entry strategy, which I still trade. So I wanted the weekly chart to start with, and that's where I've identified the zones. And the zones here, they look a little bit compact, they look a little bit tight, but on a daily chart, the zones are going to look maybe more wide, and you can clearly see that there's a support at this level right here, because the indicator, this is just like a pivot indicator, high and low, shows you the highs and the lows. You can set the time or whatever. I just use it because it's good visually and I like it. But we clearly see that we have a few touches on this resistance right here, 1.03, and this support right here, 0.97. We've been touching to this zone earlier, and I think that's the area where I took the trade. Now we came back to the same zone a few days after, and I was spotting a few different time frames, including the forward chart. And the forward chart is where I saw that we were breaking outside the Bollinger Band with an engulfing candle. So I entered above the high, which is right here, stop loss below the low, and reward to risk at 3-1. Okay, don't forget this is a kind of major zone. So if price gonna bounce off that zone, or if price gonna react and reverse that zone, it's gonna make a big move. That's the reason why I target 3-1 and not only 2-1. And I will take some partial profit as always at 1-1, because that's my preferred way of doing things. Now this trade could also have been entered on the 1 hour chart. This is the other time frame that I follow, except that the setup didn't appear on that time frame. We kind of had something different, where we had this break out of the Bollinger Band, but the engulfing candle inside the Bollinger Band, not outside. Hence why I usually don't take those trades. It's kind of a different setup. Now the other setups that I want to show you today are very similar. One of them took place on AUD USD, and that was the exact same thing. So we are at kind of a zone of support, although this one is more of a trend line. And I don't necessarily look at trend lines per se, but we've been having these highs right here. So this high, and that gives us a zone of support with this area right here. Now we've been a little bit below, and I totally understand. In those circumstances, I still take the trade. I went on the forward chart, saw this setup, stop loss below the low, we were to risk 3-1, and the entry was right there, above the candlestick. And this is like you've seen the exact same setup as AUD CAD. Okay, the two are probably correlated, but I'm totally fine with the risk at this point. The other trade I took this week was on CAD CHF, and this is a trade that's been to break even, so half of it is closed now. The other half is still open, and I don't move my stop loss to break even. Stop loss stays at the same level on this trade. And it looks like it's going to go back to the stop loss. It's possible, it's fine. But the trade has been the exact same way. And I think I've showed you guys those trades. So this one was actually taken on a 1 hour chart with the same setup. Okay, and we cannot predict like how far price is going to go. And it's totally fine to have break-even trade. That happens a lot with this strategy. You just have to be able to stick to the plan at all times. Now, I did miss a trade this week, and I want to highlight that point also. What I do when I miss a trade is that I will draw the same thing on the chart as if I took a trade. I will note it down in my journal and keep an eye open on whether that's going to be a winning trade or a losing trade. Just because I want to kind of calculate and understand what would have happened if I took the trade. Okay, this particular trade I think happened too early. So yeah, 5 a.m. right here. And again, the same setup. GBP/USD was at a major zone, 1.90, which you can see clearly on the weekly chart. if you were to look on a daily chart, you might see that price has been a little bit above the zone. But don't forget that reversal trades usually happen just a little bit above the zones. Okay, they might happen a little bit before the zone, but very often they're going to be a little bit above, like just past a little bit. And that's where traders entering breakout often get stopped out because price reverse, and you have what we call kind of a fake out. Okay. Now the last trade that I'm still in is this trade on USD SJD, USD Singapore dollar. We are very close to take profit. Half of it is closed already. That was closed at 21, but the other half is still open, and the trade is still working out. So that was a trade taken on the forward chart, as you guys can see right here, and targeting 3-1 might take more time for price to get there. That's just typical, and you just have to be able to stay with that. And for no reason I will close the trade, because I follow a simple rule that I talk about all the time. You have to trade like you backtest, and if you backtested something that works, you cannot change your rules for whatever reason of not feeling comfortable at that time. You have to stick to it, and that's the basic principle here. So I hope you guys like this quick video. It's been kind of a review of trade. I'm not sure I want to do those all the time. I'd like to share my trades sometimes, but at other times I feel like it's the same thing coming up over and over again. But do let me know down below. I want to know your thoughts on this, and if you have any questions, comment below as well. And I'll see you guys for the next video. Ciao.